main part of lecturate is the ability of a candidate in order to have or enable the ability to contradict as well as tailor out specific key points in order to deliver their own speech on the given topics on the impromptu basis. So over at the SSB center itself, you'll be given some specific topics upon upon choosing one of them. You need to speak for specifically 3 minutes. So there are enormous ways how a person can tackle their entire way of or the entire lecture procedure. But however, for me, I personally have used the part of bifurcating the entire 3 minute time into 1 minute each. So we have three sections for 1 minute. First one is to declare or specifically talking about the topic, what it is. If we are talking about child marriage, so let us talk about, we'll be talking about or we'll be discussing about what is child marriage and what are the perspectives of child marriage, or so whatsoever the topic would be. Second, the second minute will be solely describing about what are the current situations around the world or specifically the region that we're talking about. Then the third minute goes for what are the measures that the government, the citizens, or the person have taken, as well as what could have been done or what is my personal opinion, or specifically what is your opinion in order to be uh, over that specific topic, and then what is going to be happening in the near future. So I think I've made myself clear. If there is any sort of doubt or any sort of quarrel inside your head, please let me know. And if not, please just give me a thumbs up. We'll start at 21:10. Okay, that's quite like it. Okay, we'll start at 21:10. Till then, you can prepare or read out different topics. Okay, people whosoever wants to speak or rather deliver their lectures, please raise your hand so that I will be able to deliver you the topics and you will be able to prepare beforehand time itself. So we have three people who are willing to participate today for the lecture session. First up, Surya. So Surya, these are your given topics. You can prepare for any one of them. Just let me just present out my clock. I hope so my screen is visible to all of you. If yes, please give me a thumbs up. That's really nice. So Surya, just let me know whenever you are ready. We'll start the timer right away. Saurav, these are going to be your topics. That is, rise of electronical vehicles, India, India Maldives relations, India's major challenges, India Iran relations, India's foreign policy. So be ready with your lecture 2.
Prashant, just give me 1 minute. I'm almost ready with my lecture. Okay, Prashant, I'm ready.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me grab a piece of paper to write down the feedback. So everybody present in this meet. Please note that Surya will be demonstrating how to give out a lecturate over a given topic, and you all are requested to give out the feedback as well as note down what specific points he is going to share over that specific topic. Okay, Surya, the time starts in 3, 2, and 1.
So, Jai Hind, to everybody present over here. The topic of my lecturate is Indian Railways, and the points which I will be covering in my lecturate shall include the introduction, then what are the major problems faced by the Indian Railways in today's time, then the solutions and the modernization steps taken by the government and the way forward. So, starting with my lecturate, ladies and gentlemen, as we know that Indian Railways is the fourth largest railway network in the whole world, comprising of over 8,000 stations and 25 million people traveling every day. Now the question arises as to what are the major problems and concerns that Indian Railway is facing over the time. The number one includes the aging infrastructure. As we know that approximately 40% of the tracks are not being modernized, they are not upgraded to the level that we are making the coaches. For example, right now we have the ICF coaches that run up to 130 km per hour, but we are updating it to the LHB coaches which can go up to 160 km per hour. But our railway tracks, they are not able to take the capacity of 160 km per hour. The infrastructure needs to be updated. Next are the safety concerns. Like we have the Balasore crash in 2023, we have the cover system, but it's not applicable to the whole Indian railway system. It is applicable to a very specific routes. Other includes the overcrowding. We are increasing the railway coaches, but not the tracks. That creates a chaos and a traffic in the whole railway system. Other problems include the financial strain. We have the goods train running on the same tracks that we're running the passenger trains. And coming on to the solutions implemented are we have the electrification. There were a lot of tracks which were not electrified. Right now, approximately 95% of the whole tracks are being electrified, and the broad gate by the 2030. Also, we have the covered system which is being implemented on a very large scale over the whole Indian railway systems. Apart from that, we are also having dedicated freight corridor which is going to be specifically targeting the freight corridor. For example, we have specific lines. For example, Mumbai to Delhi, then Delhi to Kolkata. These lines specifically target the freight trains so that we don't have any disturbance and India can improve upon that. Also, we have the public-private partnerships where India is partnering with the many private companies in order to boost the investment operations over there. We have the digital initiatives. Recent news said that there will be ATMs included in the railway trains. That is also a very good development. On top of that, we are going to have the bullet train project, and also upgradation of the track is being done by the Indian Railways. The way forward in the modernization effect includes our Vande Bharat Express, which are being launched right now. We're having the smart coaches, like the electronic interlocking systems for the better train control. Then we have the AI predictive maintenance. So we are moving towards the modernization. The way forward includes that it is not only the responsibility of the government to take care of this, but also as a citizen, we must take care that we are not littering and we are making sure that our railways are clean and neat. Thank you.
Okay, Surya, that was quite plausible as well as quite credible performance of yours. So the main key highlights of your entire lecture were the starting from the part of prelude. So it talked about a lot of things that are happening around the part of Indian railways, with part of infrastructure, people, or the upgrades that are going to happen. It was a huge entire spectrum that you have talked about, be it for the part of frigate corridor or the part of electrification of our trains, locomotives, and others. But however, I think one more thing could have been done in much more clear manner uh, regarding the part of bullet train, because Japan has gifted us Shinkansen, that is the bullet train from Japan, that is in the number of two, as well as the civic sense that is present in among or normal Indians. These 2 points could have been much that one. These points could have created much more greater or inverse effect over the part itself. Rather on the part of fluency, confidence, as well as continuity or consistency was quite good.
Yeah, indeed, Prashant. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, does anybody has any other feedback? Would be really appreciated. Any feedback? It's totally open up. You can also let me know. Okay, I guess Prashant, that's it.
Okay. So next we have Saurav. Okay. People after Saurav. Anybody else who would like to participate in the the lecturate? Okay, Vaibhav Sharma. So Vaibhav Sharma, keep an eye over the chat section. I'll be giving you topics.
Sure.
So Vaibhav, these are your topics. That is road networking in India, importance of sex education, women in combat role, and AFSPA Act and its provisions. You have 3 minutes till Saurav completes his lecturate. Then it's your turn. Saurav, please start.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you're clearly audible to all of us.
Okay. Jai Hind everyone. Jai Hind everyone. So I have chosen to speak on India-Iran bilateral relationship as the lecture topic. So my topic will be covered by several parts. So first topic is historical and cultural ties. Uh, as we everyone know that India and Iran, both the countries have been sharing in the field of rich history of culture and civilization and other connections as well. So very common things of the culture is language and the architecture and the art part as well. We have seen that in our history that Mughal Empire in India and many Persian words are integrated into our Indian language. Also, Parsi language has added to the list of our classical language of India. Coming to my next point, that part of the energy and cooperation. India and Iran are both a very important player in the field of importing crude oil from Iran, and also India is aiming to invest $20 billion in Iran in energy sector and cooperation. Coming to my next point, connectivity. That last year, both the country has signed on Chahbar port, which is going to be as very important agreement. It will make a road between it will make a door to enter Russia through the Afghanistan, and it will also counter portion of Gwadar port to develop, which is developed by China in Pakistan. And coming to my next point, that international north south corridor, which is also another our corridor, which is a very important. It aims to provide the multimodal transportation system which will link the India with the with the Central Asia. And also it is a based on the rail, road, and sea connectivity. Coming to my next point, terrorism and security. Both the country face huge problem related to security, like Al Qaeda and Islamic State, and it's down. Coming to my next point, that way forward. Sorry, just give me a second. जाओ ना माँ. Sorry guys for the disturbance. And the challenges that, as we know, that Iran is the one of the country that faced lot of sanction imposed by USA. So that is a barrier for importing crude oil from country like Iran. Therefore it is a very important thing to solve this issue with the help of USA. And also the thing is, terrorism, it is not only a problem of one nation. Bilaterally and with diplomatic channel we have to solve this problem. Thank you everyone.
Okay, Surya, would you like to go first for the feedback or shall I go?
Okay, I'll give the feedback. Okay, sort of that was a good lecturate. But what I felt was that कि काफ़ी places पे you were getting fumbled. तो वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा visible था, like repeating repetition of the words, and आपने मतलब repetition वर्ड कुछ ज़्यादा ही हो रहा था, जिसकी वजह से whole flow was getting disturbed. So keeping that aside, the content was really good. You know how to channelize the whole content and how to present that content. And उसके अलावा just ये था कि last में you need to add the way forward. I understand there was some disturbance. तो उसके अगर हम उस part को हटा दे, like the rate was good. Just you need to work a bit on the fumbleness. Like आपको हल्का सा और confidently बोलना है सौरभ, क्योंकि आपका फ्लो बार बार बिगड़ जा रहा था. और इसकी वजह से क्या होता है ना कि वी गेट डिस्ट्रैक्टेड बाय हियरिंग योर ओन पॉइंट्स. सो जस्ट ट्राई टू मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव द क्लियरिटी ऑफ द माइंड. यू डू हैव, लेकिन उस सेंटेंसेस को बनाने में या कंप्लीट करने में ना इट क्रिएट्स अ बिट ऑफ द डिस्टर्बेंस. वो दिख रहा था वहाँ पे. अदरवाइज इट्स गुड.
Okay, sir, from my side, I would say your uh, your choice for the topic itself is quite good. But however, I would say uh, language and culture, energy and cooperation, these are quite good topics. But however, the amount of facts and figures that are present in the entire topic were not presented by you. So I would say a bit more part or bit more stress over the part of facts and figures would be much more better, as well as it would create a bit more weightage towards your entire point. So, as same as Surya, fluency as well as gaps were present, but however, the part of ports and treaties were present. But however, I would say a bit more stress would be required over the part of facts and figures. That's all.
Thank you everyone.
Okay, Vaibhav, you're up next.
Yeah, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, anybody else except Gaurav who would like to participate in the lecturate? Please raise your hand. No, no problem. Okay, Vaibhav, you may go ahead.
Jai Hind, everyone. Okay. Yeah, Jai Hind, everyone. So today my lecture topic is AFSPA. AFSPA stands for Armed Forces Special Power Act, which is a Indian law enacted in 1958. Now, why do we need this law? Why to give power to the armed forces? To combat insurgency and terrorism. So if you see, AFSPA is mainly constructed in northeast region. To impose AFSPA, first you have to declare that area to be as disturbed. Now, how you can declare it as disturbed? If there is any insurgency or terrorism activity going on in that area, who have that power? It's the state government and the central government have that power. So you might be wondering, okay, if the force is coming in, what have their power, what they can do. So once the area is disturbed, AFSPA is automatically being imposed. Means the security forces who are there, they have the right to use forces, including lethal forces, to to act against the individual who are going against the law. Second, that they can arrest anyone without any warrant. Also, they are ready to search the premises without any prior notice. They also have to right to destroy and dump the arms that the training camps have, that the insurgency training camps have. So these all powers they hold. But you might be wondering, what about the people who are very innocent? What about their rights? So here comes the critiques part. Critique says that Article 21 of the Indian Constitution says right to life means a good quality of life is the duty of the government to give to its citizens. Using ASPA, we are not giving that. So it's a clear violation of Article 21, which is a basic fundamental right. Second thing is, if forces comes into power, they can act as per their own call, their own decision. So this gives a negative impact towards the soldiers, towards the armed forces. I believe, in my opinion, there should be a balance of stating the area to be disturbed because if the area is disturbed, it automatically imposes AFPA. And once the AFPA, you cannot, your basic fundamental rights will be violated. So government should make sure properly take care of declaring the area to be as disturbed. Thank you.
Okay, Surya, would you like to go ahead for the part of feedback?
हाँ वैभव भाई आपने लेक्चर काफ़ी अच्छा दिया. आई लाइक योर कॉन्फिडेंस, द वे यू स्पीक, द वे यू रियली एक्सप्लेन द लेक्चरेट, तो काफ़ी कमेंडेबल था. एंड आपने बहुत अच्छे अच्छे पॉइंट भी ऐड करे, तो दैट्स रियली गुड. बट ये था वैभव भाई, थोड़ा सा ना गैप ज़्यादा लग रहे थे जब आप अपने पॉइंट्स को दे रहे थे ना, तो वो गैप हल्का सा आप कम कर सकते हो. एंड उसके अलावा थोड़ा सा कंटेंट और ऐड करना है भाई आपको, कोई स्टैटिस्टिक्स हो, कोई डेटा हो, कोई रिपोर्ट हो, कुछ भी हो, अगर आप ये और ऐड कर पाओगे तो बहुत ही बढ़िया रहेगा. उसके अलावा आपका वे ऑफ डिलीवरी एंड द वे यू एक्सप्लेन द टॉपिक इज द पॉइंट विच मेक्स यू स्टैंड आउट इन द होल लेक्चर. ये तो वो तो अच्छी बात है ही, बट इस पॉइंट पर का ध्यान देना कि आप थोड़े ब्रेक कम लो एंड थोड़ा सा और स्पीड बोलो. आपकी स्पीड थोड़ी सी स्लो लगी भाई मेरे को बस.
Yeah, sure, Surya. I'll work on it.
Okay, reimbursing on the points of Surya, I would say slowness as well as a bit of gaps were present in your lecture. But however, basic knowledge, details, as well as required information were present in your entire lecture, including the facts and figures has been presented. That is the uh, the misuse of the power presented by the AF uh, ASPA Act itself. So overall, it was quite good, but I would say the slowness, or rather a ramp up of the pace, would be required.
Yeah, sure. I'll work on it. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else who would like to participate in the lecture? No. Okay, no problem. Surya, could you provide me a bunch of topics so that I can prepare myself for the part of lecture 8?
अच्छा, you just give me 1 second.
I want to ask about these topics. You guys prepared it before, or you are just randomly putting one topic and suggesting your views on the topic?
Can you come again? I was not able to hear correctly.
Means these topics are already being given to you guys about you have to speak, or you are just randomly choosing one topic and try to speak of that topic.
Yeah, we are just randomly talking about, or rather, randomly getting a topic and then trying to speak over it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll be taking 1 minute to prepare. Please pardon me for that. I've decided what topic I'm going to speak upon. So I would request everybody to have a keen notice over my voice, or rather on my lecturate. If possible, I'll be opening my camera. So lo and behold, people. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Just let me know when I'm visible to all of you. Am I visible? Oh, thank you. So I'll be starting right away with my lecturate. Giant one and all present. My topic is the major challenges present in India. So India, as a developing nation, has been carrying off about large number of challenges itself, be the part of poverty, healthcare, railways, roadways, and many more to come. But first of all, let us discuss the elephant in the room, that is the part of civic sense in Indians. We have recently seen that in the Mahakumbh operation, or rather the Mahakumbh festival, people have been thrashing the trains of Indian railways and causing havoc in large numbers. This has caused a large number of distress as well as havoc in the people, creating a large number of destruction as well as inability to commit from one place to another due to the fear of being thrashed by the people present over the railway station. As well as let us talk about the different things that are present over the part of Indian railways. Indeed, Indian railways infrastructure has been suffering a lot, be the part of the people who are putting different things over the railway tracks, or be the part of the authorities that are getting low and low, or rather slower and slower day by day, in order to compete with the other nations, in order to have in order, or rather up to date infrastructure. Recently, Japan, our close dear friend, has gifted us Shinkansen, that is the bullet train of the Japan, that can go for the speed of 200 km per hour. That there is of that are of no use, because we have seen that infrastructure, rather the railway tracks that are we using, are quite slow and not sturdy enough, as well as the security present over the tracks is not up to date. Talking about the roadways itself, roadways is the biggest heartline, or rather, let us talk about the nervous system of India. We have talked about the golden quadrilateral, north to south corridor, west to east corridor. These all things are connecting India from east to west to south, and all over the world itself. But we are seeing that the recent decline over the quality of roads has been quite tremendous. Indeed, Nitin Gadkari, our roadways minister, has done a quite lot of work in order to be doing such impeccable feat. But however, we Indians with our less civic sense have been doing the quite opposite and going towards the negative possibility or negative growth. Let's next talk about the biggest topic in the present India, that is poverty. Gentlemen, poverty has been a great, or rather a great redundancy in India itself, because poverty itself kills the majority of the population as well as the infants that are present. Mortality rate as well as the hospital bills has been going quite low. So, people, in my opinion, India needs to focus on all of the challenges or the factors in order to be much more developed, or rather be more prosperous in all around the world. Gentlemen, that's all.
Well, Prashant, that was a good try by you. I must say that. So I just have a few feedbacks. So just let me go ahead with that. 1 second. Yeah. So firstly, you mentioned about the civic sense. Okay, that's a really big problem that India is facing. That's totally true. You mentioned the example of the Mahakumbh. Well, that's totally acceptable. एंड उसके अलावा भी आप कुछ पॉइंट और ऐड कर सकते थे, जैसे कि जो लेटरिंग होती है उसके अलावा पीपल स्पिट ऑन द न्यूली मेड देयर वाज अ न्यूली मेड रेलवे ब्रिज इन न्यू दिल्ली, तो लोगों ने वहाँ पूरा थूक के गंदा कर दिया। तो उस पे भी आप पॉइंट आ सकते हैं, एंड उसके ऊपर से हम कितना बजट स्पेंड करते हैं इन ऑर्डर टू मेक श्योर कि वो चीज़ साफ हो जाए, इट्स फार मोर देन द होल इंडस्ट्री ऑफ दैट पान मसाला। तो एक ये मेजर पॉइंट है जिसके आप बोल सकते थे। उसके अलावा you mentioned the current affair that we are being gifted in the bullet train, तो वो एक सही बात की आपकी, इस रेलेवेंस में था. एंड इसके अलावा आपके जो पॉइंट्स सही थे, लेकिन प्रशांत मेन थिंग दैट वाज लैकिंग वाज अ बिट डेटा दैट यू नीड टू ब्रश अप अपॉन, बिकॉज आपके पॉइंट्स सही थे, दे मेड टोटली सेंस, बट इन ऑर्डर टू बैक अप योर पॉइंट्स, इन ऑर्डर टू बैक योर पॉइंट्स, यू नीड टू ऐड सम डेटा, कोई भी डेटा करंट अफेयर से हो, आपका ही करंट अफेयर था, लेकिन उसके अलावा बाकी चीज़ आपको ऐड करने की ज़रूरत है. उसके अलावा your confidence was good, but एक चीज़ और थी, that was repetition of the words, like you use the word in order rather than these words were continuously repeated, which I felt. So just less use of these words and you could add more content to your whole lecture, right? Otherwise you have confidence and the way of delivery is really truly unique, in my opinion.
Okay, sure thing, Surya. I'll keep this in mind for the next attempt, etc.
But I
Okay.
guess you should have taken some time for the preparation, like you could have added more content to that. You went away directly.
And there are some more points about you lectured regarding myself. Your lecture was good. The way you narrated was quite well. But here you can also cover a lot of spectrums regarding the India's problem, because there is unemployment and regionalism is there. So you can also add, because your 1 minute was about the railway and second was about the roadways. So there are multiple problems in India. And at the last, in the 30 second, you can also cover the what is India doing reducing these problems, some of the scheme, or you can add a data of the World Bank that will lecture topic.
Okay, I do agree with you, but the problem is India's facing so much challenges that if I speak for 24 hours straight away, that will also be counted as in this. So I do
Hi,
agree with your point.
Prashant. Am I
Yes,
audible to you?
yes, clearly
See,
audible.
I agree that 3 minutes is less to address the challenges that India face. But you know what? Your lecturate was literally revolving around the infrastructure wala part.
Yes,
You talked
that
about
was the point.
yes, you talked about civic sense, but you know what? How Indians lack civic sense is just because it is not there in their education curriculum. The major problem is here education. We are not about taught about civic sense or civic sanitation in school as well. So how are we supposed to develop the civic sense? We are talking about it. It is now being reflected, but its root cause is education. एंड तुम ये भी मेंशन कर सकते हो कि जीडीपी इंडिया लेस देन 2% स्पेंड करती है एजुकेशन में, तो ऑब्वियसली यही होना है. देन आई
Education is
गेस
like the parenting, like parenting with
yes,
scenario makes sense, so that also lacks.
yes, sure. In fact, the best part that you can mention while concluding is about the SDGs goal that India is lacking in every 17 SDGs goal जो हमें 2030 तक पूरे करने हैं, सारे ऑफ टारगेट जा रहे हैं. तो उसमें तुम हेल्थ पॉल्यूशन टॉप 10 सिटीज में इंडिया का नाइन सिटीज आर इंडियाज आर इंक्लूडेड इन टॉप 10 मोस्ट पोल्यूटेड सिटीज. You can add this as well. There is a very less contribution or GDP money is spent on research and development. These are the problems that majorly India faces. Transportation, roadways and railways are something that can be looked at second hand. But major problems ये सारे हैं कि health care नहीं है,
Yes, that's a
unemployment
good
नहीं है.
point. That's a good point, because you speak about the transportation and railways, but you can choose the most major problem that India is facing. That will enhance your GDP performance.
या उसके अलावा भी ना प्रशांत, आपने बहुत अच्छे पॉइंट ऐड किए थे, लाइक यू कैन मेंशन अबाउट द यूथ ऑफ इंडिया, लाइक less attention span and facing for the mental problems, फिर educational curriculum not up to the mark, not getting the jobs,
Yes,
जो हमें
yes.
पढ़ाया जा रहा है उसकी वजह से जो हमें पढ़ाते हैं वो relevant ही नहीं है whole industry, क्योंकि majority लोग are unemployed, like 1 out of the 4 people are unemployed just because they
Skill
are
gap.
not taught the right thing in the what is required for the industry. तो ये भी चीज़ है, ऊपर से लोगों का ना ध्यान हट रहा है, लाइक दे डोंट वांट टू जॉइन आर्म फोर्सेस, क्योंकि अग्निवीर लॉन्च हो गई, तो मतलब बहुत चीज़ें हैं, मतलब इट वुड जस्ट वोंट एंड इफ वी कंटिन्यू स्पीक. सो मतलब योर lecture was good, but it was centralized on just one that was around infrastructure a bit.
Okay,
So just
I'll
diversifying your thoughts to a bit would really help you.
yeah, sure try work upon that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the time is 21:41. So shall we have a